Hello, hello. It's Coyote Christina, surfer, author, dreamweaver. We are in week 7 of the Amazed and Amused campaign. Amazed and Amused is the short title for my new book. I'm working on getting it published by the end of this year. So this campaign is to share with the world about the book. It's inspired by animal guides. We talk about chakras, and today is Wednesday, so we'll be talking about the chakras and linking it into the animal guides. So glad you're here. I hope if you're interested and you're really enjoying the information, please subscribe on my Substack account. And if you want to hold a copy of your very own of Amazed and Amused, go ahead and go to tkcdreams.net and you can order on the book launch. There's pre-sale. So we're in the transformation stage of the journey. There's 2 parts of the transformation stage, which is Ithaca and Destiny, and after transformation we get to go into celebration. So this, like, the next 3 weeks of the campaign are the most fun, but can also be, it's kind of heady with the transformation stage. I just found a bunch of great material in the book to share, so a lot of today I'm just going to do reading. So here we go. When we discover that we are the home for which we have been searching, we come back to ourselves. Home is a physical space housed in the lower chakras and becomes transcendent when the soul moves past fear, allowing for the free flow of energy through both the lower and upper chakras. This free flow of energy opens us to step outside our comfort zone, to seek more than safety and security from our homes, and to embrace our power to provide a home that nurtures and uplifts our authentic self. A home that upholds our right to self-determination. So this is just part of the intro to the transformation stage that I'm reading from now. The energy from healthy, strong 6th and 7th chakras flows both up and down, moving us towards transcendence during the transformation stage, and eventually opening the gateway to the celebration stage. This transformation is not only in how we view the outer world, but also more importantly in how we view ourselves, and is processed mainly in the upper 2 chakras, the third eye and the crown. And then I'm gonna quote Eastern Body, Western Mind, this wonderful book by Anadeo Judith. And this is from the third eye portion of the book about the 6th chakra. As we pass the neck and enter the realm of the head, we transcend the physical world of time and space and enter the non-physical, symbolic realm of the mind. Since the upper 2 chakras are associated with the realm of transcendent consciousness, they transcend the limit of time and space that is so important to the body, and their scope moves beyond the purely personal to a more universal cosmic realm where awareness fuses diverse elements of experience into a unified whole. So that's page 358 and page 359 in Eastern Body, Western Mind. So when our 6th and 7th chakras are clear and open, we are able to discern the line between illusion and reality, as well as being able to blur that line at will. We begin to realize how subjective our view of reality is and how we need symbols and archetypes that convey the universality of human experience. We need myth today now more than ever. The archetypes of times long ago still hold secrets of our psyche. We begin to understand the different levels of consciousness that author and healer Anadeo Judith explains in her book, Eastern Body, Western Mind. The valuable insight she provides regarding the different kinds of information we receive from and hold in our body helps us to identify where we may need to focus our attention. The lower 2 chakras, the root and the sacral, are the realm of instincts and the unconscious mind, which flow with gravity according to their own nature. At chakra 3, the solar plexus, we awaken to an egoic consciousness, a sense of separate self with a will to resist or direct the instinctual flow. Chakras 3, 4, and 5 are largely run by the egoic consciousness on the inner planes. The realm of transpersonal consciousness is a realm that is beyond both ego and instincts, yet reflects and combines both. In this reflection, we can see that chakra 6, the third eye, and 7, the crown, are the mental mirrors of the lower and middle realms respectively. Chakra 6 symbolically reflects the unconscious, while chakra 7 is the realm of conscious understanding. Chakra 7 is the central processing unit that finds meaning in the images that Chakra 6 brings forth from the lower realms and incorporates them into an ever-growing body of understanding. So that last bit I read was from the book as well, and then I reflect on it and say, as our chakra system develops and as our mind's ability to process more complex information increases, we find the energy of the body can begin to flow more freely into the upper realms and more freely downward from the upper chakras and the world of ideas toward manifestation. We have begun to place new ways of being and relating into practice. When our beliefs become a way of life and not just a Sunday practice or professing words with little action, we are in the transformation stage. So, we talked about Ithaca some yesterday, and I'm going to go straight into butterfly, which we did a little yesterday, but I must really like butterfly because it's the longest one today too. And then we'll have a section on possum and lizard and whale. All right, so butterfly. As we take our first wing flaps along the transformation stage of the magical mythical journey, it is in the enchanting medicine of butterfly, it is the enchanting medicine of butterfly that joins us. This potent medicine lies in the power of transcendence. We rise above duality on the strength of butterfly's paper-thin wings. No longer limited by paradox, we focus on our power to build the life of our dreams, not on all the reasons we can't or shouldn't. The airiness of this creature's delicate wings lifts our spirits and soul to new heights, allowing us to take flight and inspiring us to let go of all that is not needed. We experience the beauty of butterflies' colorful wings in motion, and learn the strength of our vulnerability. The first 3 stages of our journey have served as a cocoon that has brought us safely to this point. Now, as we glide through the clear blue sky, no longer encumbered by hurry or worry, the deepest longing of our soul emerges, the longing to be fully autonomous and connected creatures that we are meant to be. We have developed our ability to change our perspective and set our sails towards a new horizon. Searching for unknown lands, butterfly allows us to remember and forget all that has been, and we begin to open to endless possibilities. I remember telling a friend that my ex will always ask, "Why didn't you come back?" And I will always ask, "Why didn't you come along with me?" He was a caterpillar, I was becoming a butterfly. At one time, his arms were the Ithaca to which I always thought I would return, but that embrace became a cage that held me but did not support my need to feel loved, to be a dreamer, to be all of me unapologetically. I wanted to explore the world, pursue my dreams, and in love with the world of ideas. I had an overactive, sometimes delusional 6th chakra, while my husband had a deficient 6th chakra. He was confined to the lower chakras for the most part, and neither of us knew how to build a bridge back to the amazing love that had brought us together. This is how I describe it now. At the time, I didn't know enough about chakras to use this descriptor. It's amazing and amusing and confusing. I still love my ex. I always will. I had no choice. I have no choice. I was a scared little girl in a big lonely world, and I found a warm, loving embrace. My choice was whether to stay or go. It wasn't to love or not love. It is one of the, if not maybe the hardest decision I ever had to make. I decided to go, and he did not follow. I found that you can walk away from the most beautiful song you've ever heard because your soul has told you it is time to go. It is tragic, it is divine comedy, it is the universality of human experience, and we get to decide if we are going to wallow in the shoulda, woulda, coulda, or if we are going to get curious and embrace our power to build the life of our dreams. So that's a little bit from the butterfly section of Amazed and Amused. Now we'll go to possum. During the initiation stage of our journey, we were cut to the core, and instead of looking for ways to escape the pain that comes from deep loss, we became curious enough to look more closely at our wounds and find ways to heal and grow. We are not sure what to do sometimes. We are not even sure why we're having such intense feelings of sadness. Waves of emotions overtake us, and we attempt to figure out where they are coming from, what is causing so much unrest. By the time we reach the transformation stage, we are well aware of the intense emotions within, and we've become wise enough to start to identify what may be causing them, or to simply let them be with no need to figure it out. We have learned to trust our inner wisdom to guide us and have reached a point where we no longer need to make excuses for ourselves or for others. When we are ready to free ourselves from ignorance and circumstance, we will likely find Possum on our doorstep. Possum plays dead, and in so doing transforms reality, a shape-shifting of sorts. When we are experiencing many changes, when the foundation of our life has been shaken and is crumbling away, the fear can be paralyzing. This paralysis can show up in many forms and often creates ignorance if we look outward for relief. If we direct our attention inward, however, the magical mythical journey will unfold. If we are unsure what our next step should be, Possum can help us create diversion tactics that buy some needed time to think of and explore alternatives and become better prepared and better able to make choices that are not only healthy, but also lead to our very best life. We let go of our need to impress and to please, and when we open to the simplicity of our right to be, Possum waddles to our side. This is quoting medicine cards. And assuming the viewpoint of no defense, you have chosen the right to be who and what you are with no games involved. So Possum medicine is humble, simple in concept, and elusive in practice. With Possum by our side, we learn that our greatest strength can come from standing secure in our own truth with no excuses and no justifications. We learn how to use diversion not as a coping mechanism to survive, but rather as a strategy to thrive. We learn that the proper use of diversion is to know when you do not need to use diversion at all. You owe no one an excuse for how you feel or what you choose to experience. And that last bit was from medicine cards as well about Possum. So here we go, moving into lizard. How do you define your world? What are you willing to sacrifice? What is your greatest sorrow, your greatest fear? What makes your soul sing and your feet pound the earth? Have you stepped into the warm light of grace, or do you continue to hide in the shadows of reason, controlled by doubt and fear, controlled by your commitments and making excuses when there are only reasons? The willingness to ask these questions opens us to a new way of being in the world. Just as lizard remains unafraid of snake by being confident in his ability to create and define the world by actively dreaming in the shadows, we can learn to be present to both our inner and outer worlds. This ability allows us to gather the information we need to make wise decisions that are not tainted by fear, anger, or doubt. We become less and less reactionary, willing to play into the drama of ignorance, and more willing to accept the state of the world while at the same time working for the change needed to honor the dignity of all beings and to illuminate the path of self-determination for all people. During the first 3 stages of the journey, we have rummaged through the dark corners in our psyches and bodies. We have done our best to clear away the pain and fear, making room for the medicine of dreamers that is an integral part of the transformation stage. As we started this 4th stage of our journey, Butterfly lifted our spirits and Possum gave us a firm grounding in our right to be. Now we are ready to linger in the shadows where Lizard will provide the pathway to manifest our deepest desires. We no longer subconsciously create delusions to measure up to a mythical yardstick of what life is supposed to be, a subconscious tool that attempts to compensate for loss and avoid disappointment instead of accepting them as a natural part of life. We acknowledge and embrace our shadow. This shadow can be our fears, our hopes, or the very thing we are resisting, but is always following us around like an obedient dog. That little bit's from medicine cards. I really like that. Once we make friends with the shadowy parts of our being and psyche, we may suddenly find that we are in our dreams awake and the wonders of the world come alive. And this again is from medicine cards. Lizard medicine is the shadow side of reality where your dreams are reviewed before you decide to manifest them physically. We may find ourselves falling in love over and over again. The reality of this place surpasses my dreams. I am captivated. I am in love. I wrote these words on my first night traveling in Greece in 2009. Athens was amazing. Walking the pedestrian way at the base of the Acropolis and listening to the sounds of the evening and the magical music of the lyre and seeing the bare sacred rock lit up against the wine-dark sky while being embraced by a warm, gentle autumn breeze, soothing and magnificent, enchanting and delightful. What more did I need? Nothing. What more did I want? Nothing. Completely free of all that had been, completely content in the moment. It is during the transformation stage that we're able to dream Lizard to our side and able to process information at multiple levels. the instinctual, egoic, and transpersonal or transcendental. All levels of awareness are accessible through dreams. Remember, life is not always as it seems. Are you the dreamer or are you the dreamed? And that little line's from, that's one of my favorite lines. Are you the dreamer or the dreamed is from Medicine Cards. All right, so winding up today, I know we covered a lot of information. Hope it's all interesting. I love it. So it's at 15 minutes. I might be compulsively sharing. Thanks for, what's that called? Indulging my compulsivity by watching. Anyway, here we go. Whale medicine to wrap up the Ithaca portion and finding our home during the first half of the transformation stage. Whale medicine can carry us from the sea of our youth that is laden with limitations to the sea of destiny that is full of endless possibilities. This gentle giant allows us to channel the excess energy of a sixth chakra towards learning, growing, and being open to all possibilities without becoming delusional and without becoming overly attached to or obsessed with one particular possibility. Whale joins us in the sea of the ancients, pulsing and fluid, buried treasures abound, wisdom, love, and death, joy, peace, and pain, fear and anger remain. If we strengthen and balance the energy of our sixth and seventh chakras, the sea of our youth will be transformed to the sea of destiny. And then I'm going to quote from Eastern Body, Western Mind. The psychic realization of or discovery of the soul is not the end for the seeker. It is only the very small beginning of another voyage, which is made in consciousness instead of ignorance. And that's basically talking about how child development on the first round of developing our chakras. We're children and we don't have a fully formed prefrontal cortex. And as children, we're dependent on others. So really we're being formed in utero. Our biology goes back to our ancestors and in our environment when we're born. But once we get to a point where we're adult and we're taking responsibility for our own being, I mean, we say 18 is an adult age, but really our prefrontal cortex does not fully form until our mid-20s. So usually this second round of consciousness, this second round of developing our chakras and strengthening them happens probably mid-20s. I would even say 30. My personal wake up kind of was my mid-30s when I really started to discover all these patterns and all these ways of being that were habitual. And I always thought I was making conscious choices, and really I was basically acting out of habit, which I think most of us do. We're just biological, physiological beings, and that's what happens. And we're social beings, so we are easily conditioned to do what people around us tell us. All right, so here's Whale. Whale joins us on the sea of the ancients. Okay, so the psychic realization, we've done that. So as our upper chakras open and strengthen, we begin to uncover the knowing deep within. We become enchanted by the music flowing from the lyre on the street that we have never heard before and yet sounds so familiar, tapping into the ancient knowledge in our bones, pulling us to another time in this never seen and yet familiar land. It is during the transformation stage that we first arrive at an understanding that our home is not necessarily a physical place, but rather is a state of being. We learn to become comfortable in our body and appreciate the wonderful journey it has carried us along. We have arrived, and arriving is only the beginning. So there you go. Thanks again for joining me, and have a great day. Cheers.